Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for Midday Live on TV3. I am Wendy Lai. The headlines for this afternoon. Asantehene Otumfuose questions the seeming unfairness in Ghana's justice system, especially against those who engage in petty crimes. President Akufo-Addo assures creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor will not witch hunt political opponents in business. Importers who attempted to allegedly evade import duties amounting to 3 million Ghana cedis slapped with 300% charge as punitive measures. And on the international front, sacked Zimbabwe's former vice president urges President Robert Mugabe to resign immediately. We have details of these stories and many more lined up shortly. In our first story, President Akufo-Addo has reassured Ghanaians the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor will not witch hunt political opponents. At a forum at Cambridge University in London, he said he will sign the Special Prosecutor's Bill into law on Thursday, November 23, on his return to Ghana.
The Office of Special Prosecutor came into being is because over our history of the last 10, 15 years, any time politicians are stigmatized for criminal conduct, the chorus rises, witch hunting by their political opponents. As if somehow or rather, when you've been a minister or you've been an official of government, if you're held to account, something untoward is taking place. It's witch hunting. So, and the idea that an attorney general, who's essentially a political figure in our system, just like here, will then take it upon themselves to lay a prosecution against, say, a member of the past government, because evidence has come out that when X was a minister, they looted public funds. The evidence is there, can be assembled and brought before a court. Instead of the matter being dealt with on its merits, the cry comes, they're witch hunting their opponents. It will happen on Thursday when I get back to it.
So let's move on to other stories, and we're going to talk about nanotechnology. What really is nanotechnology? And the earliest widespread description of nanotechnology referred to the particular technological goal of precisely manipulating atoms and molecules for fabrication of micro-scale products, also now referred to as molecular nanotechnology. Now, one Ghanaian who is into this is Dr. Thomas Mensah. His works are in the fields of relating to the development of fiber optics and nanotechnology. Now, Dr. Thomas Mensah is a world-renowned inventor of fiber optics and a fellow of the National Academy of Inventors. And this afternoon, he's joining me in the studio. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon,
thanks for
Wendy.
your time.
Thank you.
Now, we mentioned that you are an inventor.
Yes.
And we have been interacting about some of your patents. Tell me about this when it comes to inventions and nanotechnology and what you're really involved in.
Yeah, first two things. Number one, I'm one of the creators of fiber optics technology. I'm the inventor that moved it from the laboratories, speeds of 2 meters a second, to the industrial factory floor so it could be commercialized. And my inventions took the speeds of making it from 2 meters to 10 times to 20 meters a second. that allow fiber optics to replace copper wires throughout the world. And so, and my second invention actually created what is called strong fiber optic cables that you can put underwater, connecting many countries, US to Africa, US to Japan, that expanded the global reach of the internet. So you can send your Facebook pictures to US.
So is that the simple understanding of fiber optics and nanotechnology for every Ghanaian who's watching to understand?
Yeah, for fiber optics, I actually showed, I had a sample of it, and I showed it at the other interview, which I will show here too. Fiber optics actually as thin as your hair, very thin. Actually, your hair strand is thicker than fiber optics. It's a glass, but along the glass is pulses of laser that send in the photos, the video to the YouTube videos and everything, your emails, everything is going on along those fibers. And I'm one of the creators of that technology. On the nanotechnology side, since it's the new field, what I've done after I finished fiber optics that has made America the leader in this technology, in the internet platform, I said, what's next? And it's nanotechnology, working at a molecular level to design things. In other words, you can manipulate atoms and molecules and create things that will be what you're wearing, your dress. And nanotechnology will make it so that they pour wine on it, it won't stain it. It just falls off.
All right, that's very interesting. Now we also
and
understand.
I have a book called The Nanotechnology Commercialization. The only black guy with a book like that.
Well done.
I'm the editor-in-chief of that book.
Well done. I'm sure Ghana is really proud of you. We are all proud of you. Now, we understand that you will be giving a series of lectures, and among them is being the modernization of transportation infrastructure in Ghana, including high-speed bullet trains from the south of the country to the north. How realistic is this expectation for Ghana in the near future?
This is very realistic. India the Prime Minister of India just signed theirs. This is very realistic for Ghana. Because if Ghana doesn't do this, it will still remain an underdeveloped country or developing country for the next 10 years. But when it does this, Kennedy calls it a stretch goals.
But do you see us there? Do you see that?
I see that. I can imagine, because I spoke and talked to the president of Ghana, Nana, when he gave a brilliant speech at the UN. I sat with him, and that's the second time I'm sitting with him. That this is very, very important. Because once he built the bullet train that can go from Accra and Takoradi through Kumasi to Tamale in 1.5 hours. And the Chinese that we had a table with on a Boxer, they can build it for us in 3 years. When I advised President Obama to build high-speed train, he was on CNN and said, America should be doing this, taking the leadership in this. You know, so I'm glad to advise another head of state, which is President Nana Akufo-Addo, to build this, because once he does that, Ghana will be on a path to industrialization. And I want him to actually sign the same thing that the Indians did, that don't just build a train and ship it here and let's put it together. Bring the parts here, assemble it here, so that our engineers are working side by side to build the train, put it there, high-speed train, and we'll have it in Ghana, and you'll be riding on it 1.5 hours, you are up there. Right. And you can be on the internet while you're in the train.
Now, I can see that you have your samples here.
Yes. What I'm showing here, most people haven't seen this. This is the fiber optics, the glass you see. This is actually thin glass, like your hair. The one is bending. The fact that it has coating on it, that's why I can't bend it, or it will break. Okay. This is what carries the laser light, laser pulses. When you're sending Facebook pictures, the laser pulses are sending the pictures along this glass, all the way to America, all the way to Japan, all the way to London.
And this is?
This we put more coating on it.
But it's still the fiber.
It's still the fiber is inside. Okay. So every cable you have, even a cable at your home for HD TV, has this glass in it. That's how the pictures are so bright, so nice, that people can view all over the world. This is the most important thing. This we put it in submarine cable. And in submarine cable, that means you can send your pictures to South Africa, to London, everywhere, using the same technology.
Now, even before I let you go, and with your vast experience, I'm sure you've heard that Ghana is going digital.
Yes.
Some of the things we are putting in place is the National Digitization Address System.
Yes.
Now, how do you advise that we take advantage of this to grow our economy?
Well, number one, the lectures I'll be giving will speak to this, the internet platform. Digitization of our economy is very, very important. The current president has done the ports, going to make more efficient, and they've done the post office address system. And I believe in that, and I stand behind Nana and the vice president for doing that. Those are the beginning. We're going to digitize the entire economy. All our factories now and in future will be digitized, where we are using cloud data to help the factories perform to the same standard. I was General Motors vice president. I was with her, a week ago. General Motors is digitizing all its factories, 160 plants around the world. So that digitization will be in factories, digitization will be even in hospitals. You are digitizing everything so that if somebody want to pay anything, they can do by mobile banking. It's all digitized. America does it. You have your biometric sensors. All that is part of digitization. There's something called Smart Africa. And if you Google that, you see that Smart Africa is different countries doing things towards this digitization. That is what is going to move Ghana forward. And when the high-speed train, bullet train is built in Ghana, it will have fiber optics along the route.
Now, so through this process and this journey, what are the things we should do away with to ensure that we get what you're talking about?
Number one, I'm so glad that I have the leadership involved, because sometimes the bureaucracy and all that will get in, So once I have the leadership involved, from Nana to the vice president to the senior ministers and all the sector ministers, and we are working together, then there's no delay. In China, when I advised Obama to build a high-speed rail, China had one. Now they have 40. So China can build 40 high-speed trains in 10 years. They build 4 every year. Okay. So Ghana high-speed bullet train should be in place in 3 years. Right. That will move us forward. Somebody can stay in Tamale and work at Accra. So you don't have all these traffic tie-ups that I was in that traffic, and somebody can stay in Kumasi and work.
And so when we implement it, the next time you come to Ghana, it will be a different story.
Oh, exactly.
Altogether. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Thomas Mensah. He's a world-renowned inventor of fiber optics and a fellow of the National Academic Inventors. But I can't let you go without your lecture. You've touched on it briefly. So what should people expect? Where would you be having this?
Yeah, this RP Balfour lectures is happening in Kwame Nkrumah University. So I'll be there for a whole week. That's the first time I'm a week in any campus around the world, interacting with the students and everything. But the lectures mainly will look at the advanced transportation system. I'll talk about the high-speed rail. I'll talk about maintenance facility for airports, which will be in Kumasi, where all aircraft in 25 nations will come here and then get maintained. So those 2 projects in advanced transportation. The next one is the internet platform, how we can create the best internet in here, just like the US have. And it will be cheaper, or your phone calls will be cheaper because you have a better internet. Okay. You will struggle to get on it. And finally, I'll talk about power, because we need that. If you want a high-speed rail runs on power, that means they will put a power in place. Doomsaw is solved forever.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas Mensah. And for more on the interaction with Dr. Thomas Mensah, watch out for 20 by 20. That's our series on Saturdays and on Sundays as well. You have more interaction with him. You're still watching Midday Live, and the Commission of Inquiry on the Creation of New Regions has started a public sitting. Representatives from the Western region, led by their paramount chiefs, members of parliament and DCs, are currently making presentations to the Commission. The presentation is to throw more light on the reasons for seeking a new region and to justify why it must be accepted.
Former seat of government in Osu is where various petitioners from the regions that are seeking for another region to be created out of them are to meet the Commission of Inquiry to justify why their petitions must be accepted. Appearing today as chiefs and people of the Western region seeking for a Western North to be created.
The purpose of today's meeting is to afford the Commission the opportunity to hear at first hand from persons who have submitted petitions for the creation of regions. You would like the various petitioners to make their cases before us by a spokesperson or spokespersons of not more than 3 who may speak at different times. After the spokespersons have concluded their presentations, any of the petitioners may add points which they believe might have been left out by the spokespersons. As stated already, a hearing has been organized for those who have already petitioned the President for the creation of regions. The hearings with the petitioners will take place in camera. I repeat, the hearings with the petitioners will take place in camera, that is, away from the full glare of the public. This is to create a congenial atmosphere for our chiefs and elders who form the bulk of the petitioners to feel free to give information on their demands.
To this stage, we are really excited. We are very, very happy. And we know we are going to convince the commissioners that there is a need for the state to create a Western North out of the present Western region for development and to bring governance to the doorstep of the people. Look at where Takoradi is and look at where Wasa Kropon is. It takes them about 6-7 hours to get to Takoradi. If you are in Sehuyo, also it takes you about 8 to 9 hours, and so on and so forth. Suamai, it takes you about 8 to 9 hours. And so what that we are asking is that, yes, population, we have it, size, we have it. So why don't we get a region for ourselves so that we can get our regional minister and the technical people so close to us so that if there is any interaction, we can always see them, they can also reach us. And wherever we select as our capital, the distance will not be more than 2 hours from any corner of the region.
And Ghana has been selected as a host nation for the 2018 International Press Freedom Day. Speaking with Natalie Fort, Minister of Information Mustafa Hamid said he is hopeful the Right to Information Bill will be passed speedily to improve Ghana's democratic credentials ahead of the period.
Ghana has been selected as the host nation for the 2018 International Press Freedom Day. The day seeks to raise awareness of the importance of freedom of the press and remind governments of their duty to respect and uphold the right to freedom of expression, enshrined under Article 19 of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It has previously been marked in Indonesia, the United States, France, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and many other countries. Ghana was selected this year on the basis of standing as a beacon of hope across the African continent and the world in the area of press freedom. Minister for Information Mustafa Hamid said he is hopeful the Rights to Information Bill will be passed speedily to improve Ghana's democratic credentials ahead of the period.
All the people around the table, including the president, are very eager and desirous that it happens. I mean, I, as Minister for Information, you can be sure that I'm in a hurry to add it to my list of achievements since I came to this ministry. Quite frankly, it will be a matter of pride for me to say that something that was in the works for 17 years, that it was me, Mustafa Abdul Hamid, when I was Minister for Information, that I got the Right to Information Bill. I mean, I'm sure you know that it will be a matter of pride. Yeah, so there is no doubt in my mind, and there should be no doubt in any Ghanaian's mind, that I am really zealous in getting this thing done.
And more on this, meanwhile, the Right to Information, that's RTI Coalition Center, has called on Parliament to urgently pass the Right to Information Bill as it did with the passage of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Bill. Joining me this afternoon in the studio is Na Ayeli Setre. She's a TUC representative on the steering committee to the RTI Coalition. Good afternoon, Na, and thanks for your time. Now, over the years, we've had governments show some bit of commitment and talking about the passage of this bill, and that still hasn't happened. Do you think that it will happen?
We hope. I mean, this time, that's all. Because we just know from all the foregoings that no government has the will, the political will, to pass the RTI bill, because perhaps it's not in the interest of government, and it just happens to be a bill that will work or would inure to the benefit of the public. So really, I mean, there's nothing lost for government if it doesn't pass the bill. That's what we think. We think that there's no political will.
Do you think that there hasn't been enough push?
We have pushed.
Society?
We have. We've been fighting for this for close to 17 years and counting. You know, so we just think that governments pay lip service to passing the bill into law, and no government has been bold enough to do that. Why they are the only ones that can answer for it. I mean, every information minister or representative for communications for government you talk to have got the same story that we have just been told a few moments ago. So we think that our governments are just not serious about passing the bill, period. When you, last week's budget highlights, you heard the finance minister say they are not joking, they're serious about passing the bill. Really, we think that I mean, no government, we're daring, you know, we're daring the government, if they're that serious, we want to see some action. Because indeed, earlier this year when the budget was read, the minister talked about the fact that they were going to have stakeholders come together so that they put together actions to the passage of the bill into law. And we didn't see anything at all. So when the minister reads budget again or reads the budget again and says that, oh, government is going to pass the law, we just think that they're taking us for a ride.
Now, you touched on 17 years advocacy pushing for the passage of this bill. Do you think that there's enough information out there for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand that this is what it entails, and if it is passed, this is what will happen, and that will happen? Is there enough education out there?
I think there is enough education. I think what we are all talking about, I mean, we wake up every day and there's one kind of report or another, especially also in the news, that maybe a road in my area, you know, has been worked on or is being worked on, and that has taken forever. I mean, that's what we're talking about. If there is some accountability, that has to happen, and it's not happening. That is what we're talking about. So we have done more than enough in education, sensitization on the subject, and we think people know, and we think Ghanaians know.
What do we do? How critical is this passage? Looking at Article 21. How critical is this going forward? Even on the bits about lands and natural ownership of lands as citizens, all these are stated under Article 21. Yeah. For Ghanaians to understand that, or you think that there should be some more push? I think civil society is doing its bit, but what about the country as a whole?
The country as a whole, I think everybody understands. As I told you earlier, I mean, there's no political will. And also there is this thing about when it's all right for...
but if citizens push, even though there's no political will, sometimes...
We have pushed.
These leaders sit up.
Civil society is representing citizens of the country, right? And the last time I checked, you know, I had something like it's an orphan bill. So in Parliament, if there is nobody to push, it doesn't get pushed. But you also realize that even the last government, you know, wanted, and they told us they were going to pass it, and we didn't see any action, and they exited without doing anything about it. I think that the public knows, but like I said, I mean, really, if government doesn't pass it, who does it hurt? You see the speed with which this Office of the Prosecutor's Bill has been passed into law, and
what next?
Yeah, what next? We're asking government, and we keep asking. We can only push, and this is one of the things that we can do. Do interviews, sensitize Ghanaians, and just power pressure. Besides, if we had the way to have this passed, you know, I think we've done all that we can.
Thank you so much, Na Ayele Setre. She is a TUC representative on the steering committee of the RTI, that's a Right to Information Coalition, Ghana. You're still watching Midday Live. Asante Otumfuo II has questioned the seeming unfairness in Ghana's justice system, especially against those who engage in petty crimes. The Asante Hene was speaking at the annual Chief Justice Forum in Kumasi under the theme Quality Judges Delivering Quality Justice.
Quality of justice is what citizens feel out of litigation, their wishes and their aspirations. Quality of justice cannot be considered in the abstract. It must necessarily be related to the people for whom justice is delivered. We are the receiving end for whom justice is intended to serve. It is the standard of the beneficiaries of justice that the quality is measured. Whether what the judge does in his justice delivery functions is qualitative or not is determined by us, the beneficiaries. Whatever benchmarks you establish in pursuit of quality justice, prominence should be given to expeditious disposal of cases, for justice delayed is justice denied. Sure. If someone steals a goat and is fined 5,000 Ghana cedis, and additionally slapped with a jail term, how can people who invade a courtroom, overpower the security, release suspects, and put the life of the judge and staff in danger, and as their punishment, a paltry fine of 1,800 cedis, and are discharged? Has justice been served? And even if it has been served, the question may be asked whether the quality of justice was served. Sure. Quality justice for whom? If such judgments come from the court, how can you prevent people from questioning the quality of justice delivered by our judges? Sure. Unfortunately for you, it takes only one case or very few cases for the quality of justice that you profess to deliver to be thrown into the winds.
Meanwhile, the Chief Justice has blamed the unattractiveness for lawyers to bench to the lucrative nature of private practice. She has, however, expressed her commitment to having a first-class judiciary and judicial service.
A judicial career still seems immensely rewarding to the great majority who do the work. But there is no doubt that the heavy workload of a judge, coupled with the increasing gap between judicial pay and the rewards of successful private practice, means that appointment to the bench has become significantly less attractive than it once was. There have always been first-class lawyers who have not wanted to become judges, and not all of them would have made first-class or even particularly good judges anyway. But the proportion who now refuse to come to the bench is increasing, and it could become a real problem if it continues. The concern is not only that this trend may undermine one of the two fundamental pillars of our society, the rule of law. It is also because a first-class judiciary underpins the whole financial and professional services and industries which are so vital to the fortunes of this country.
Some more stories, and drama unfolded at the press conference to question the authenticity of the Ghana Post GPS system when two deputy communication ministers get crashed to counter arguments by the organizers. The Coalition for Democratic Governance said the system is a scam, but government officials rejected the claim.
The Coalition for Democratic Governance said the Ghana Post GPS is a copycat of an app on Google Play called Asase GPS, which is owned by Vocacom. It said every information available on the Asase GPS is available on the Ghana Post GPS. It also said information by government that the services of Ghana Post GPS are unique for Ghana is false, and that a website called plus.codes offers exactly the same services for free. He demonstrated how it works.
So if I go to plus.codes on my phone, it's showing me where I am, okay? It's showing me a blue dot. If you see the same thing, you can try it. Now you see a blue dot on your phone. Take your finger, tap on the blue dot. If you tap on the blue dot, it gives you a digital address. This is your digital address. It's available already. You don't need to download anything. If you have this code made available for you, if you are a responsible government, if you are a responsible country, what you do is that you take advantage of it because it is there for us for use for free.
He said there is no need to have a digital address system, but government must focus on developing our physical address system.
If I am living in this house, it is the government's duty to tell you your address. It is not the other way around. Which country do you go to? The government tells the people, you know what, I'm handicapped, I can't come to your place and address. You just stay in your home, tell me your address. It is not done.
While the organizers were at it, the two uninvited deputy communications ministers, George Anda and Vincent Soa, accompanied by the managing director of Ghana Post, the head of cybersecurity, and the director of NITA, waited with bated breath. Suddenly, there was an uneasy calm as the Deputy Minister of Communications, George Anda, endeavored to provide answers to issues raised by the Coalition for Democratic Governance.
Now, no. Listen. Wait. Listen. You have given your side of the story. If you don't want me to give you what the truth is, then tell me to go and sit down. No. Listen. If you don't want me to give the government side of the story, so that the journalists that are here can be better informed, then tell me to go sit down. No.
He said the allegation that Vocacom is owing in taxes is not true, adding they have paid their taxes as at March 2017.
This is the tax clearance certificate for Vocacom, issued in March 2017. So it's a total lie that you come and say that this company is not tax compliant.
The seeming gate crashing by the ministers and officials disrupted the press conference as journalists followed them outside to seek more answers.
Maps gives you longitude and latitudes. There was some illustration that the gentleman did in the room. It gave you some numbers. It didn't give you your digital address with postcodes.
And joining me this afternoon in the studio is Jeffrey Kunedu-Addo. He is the Acting Director General of the National Information Technology Agency. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon.
Now, with what we just watched, you were there yesterday. It seems the concerns about this new project will just not go away. Why is that so, and has there been enough education on this?
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, I was there yesterday, and we saw an attempt by the NDC to discredit such an important national endeavor.
But they are citizens of Ghana, and they have rights to speak about things they're not comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Or do you think they need clarity?
Absolutely. I would refer to your earlier guest here in the studio, the renowned inventor, who actually made mention of the fact that digital or an address, properly addressed society is very key. Now, this effort is being made to make sure that citizens have proper addresses. And if there is a concern, we are willing to listen. That is why this top-level delegation, uninvited, went there yesterday, because we are listening government. And we wanted to listen to any constructive criticism on this issue so that we can take steps to, if possible, correct them. But apparently, what we saw yesterday is just a propaganda attempt to just discredit the whole thing.
But going forward, because they are not the only ones who've raised concerns, a lot more people are raising concerns. How do you ensure that this doesn't recur?
Well, we are embarking on a series of public education, which is ongoing now. That is Christine, Jack, where are you? You're seeing billboards all over the country, and a lot of radio and television advertisements are also ongoing. It will take time. It is a whole year-long program that the Ghana Post is leading to make sure that the people of Ghana become aware of it, first of all, and also the importance of having one's address, digital addresses. You see,
but because my question is that if for instance I don't have access to a radio, I only see the Jack Where Are You all around, and I need information on this, where do I go to? How do I get it? How does this come to me as a citizen?
You know, Ghana Post, in collaboration with NCCE and other state agencies, are continuing. They are embarking on these processes. So it's just a matter of time that each and every citizen in this country will come closer to this public awareness campaign. So it's so many different things that have been put together, and it's being rolled out now today.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, Jeffrey Kunedu Ado. He is the Acting Director General of the National Information Technology Agency. Good afternoon, and you're still watching Video Live. We have Thanks for staying. We do business now, and importers who attempted to allegedly evade import duties amounting to 3 million Ghana cedis have been slapped with 300% charge as a punitive measure. Officials of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority said failure to pay will warrant the seized goods to be auctioned.
Officials of the Tema collection point say alleged importers will now pay 300% charge or face auctioning. They contended the said importers underdeclared when they paid 15,423 Ghana cedis on each container, making a total of 61,693.53 Ghana cedis on all the 4 containers, as against the estimated duty of 80,000 Ghana cedis on each container. The 4 containers have been kept at the state warehouse. Speaking to TV3 off camera, the Assistant Commissioner of the Tema Collection Point, Felix Mantekojo, said sanctions would be applied to the latter. Officials are worried the compliance level for importers doing business at the port are low. Owing to this, more additional freight stations have been added, yet the collection records more than 2 cases of attempted duty evasion daily. Experts say the reason why compliance level for importers are not decreasing is due to the high and numerous levies and duties one has to pay. Compared to other neighboring countries, including Abidjan and the Lome ports, charges are below 20% and 10%, which encourages payment.
The Director for Real Sector of the Economy at the Finance Ministry, Kwating Amaning, has stated the Planting for Food and Jobs program will not lead to waste in production and excess labor. He noted the agricultural value chain has the capacity to absorb the expected increase in production.
Establishing commodity-based value chains empowers farmers to increase production and also help to build sustainable markets. Market-oriented agriculture encourages farmers to invest in their fields in order to increase yields while decreasing production cost. Director for Real Sector of the Economy at the Finance Ministry, Kwating Amaning, says the Planting for Food and Jobs is to raise the level of production and productivity in the agricultural sector, comparable to international standards.
We cannot say that we are comparing ourselves to US or to UK or any of the European countries. We are not there yet. But we are saying that we can still apply mechanization to agriculture and increase the level of production and productivity.
On the sidelines of the 2018 post-budget sensitization workshop in Accra for journalists, he noted the eventual increase in agricultural production will not result in waste due to the agricultural value chain.
We're going to integrate that with the One District, One Factory program. And for that matter, whatever excess comes out of the production will go into the processing side.
Kwating Amaning allayed fears the Planting for Food and Jobs program will lead to excess labor.
If there's excess labor, some of the labor can be picked up in other links of the value chain. In the immediate future, there's no way we are going to create excess labor in the sector, not that much labor that will cause this distortion.
Optimum use of the agriculture value chain, which is made up of input and output value chains, is key in sustaining government's agriculture Marshall Plan. The inputs value chain involves those steps leading up to the harvest. These might include agro-dealers who sell farmers' agro inputs and provide information on their use, or producer organizations that help farmers learn more effective farming techniques. The output value chain is made up of all the steps that an agricultural product takes from its point of origin to the consumer.
Oh, that's all for business. Next, we have sports. Do stay.
Right here, welcome to the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Yao Fusulabi, and the first story. And the Confederation of African Football has appointed Ghana FA President and FIFA Council member Kwesi Nyantakyi as the first president in Africa's 2018 World Cup Committee. The Executive Committee of the continent's football governing body, after a successful meeting, set up the committee to map out a strategic plan to figure out how CAF can provide support for the African countries representing the continent in next year's competition. The committee is expected to hold its first meeting on the sidelines of the draw for the FIFA World Cup next month and will be led by Ghana's FA President Kwesi Nyantakyi. Well, on to more stories, and reports emerged on social media and US-based websites that Leeds United cult hero had passed in London after suffering multiple seizures. But the former Ghana hitman is alive and kicking in his homeland and says he is not even sick, and perpetrators of those acts must be brought to book. Now, Tony Yeboah later posted a video of himself working out on a cross trainer in a gym. Yeboah is best remembered for his time at Leeds United, where he scored a stunning volley against Liverpool in the 1995-96 season. He netted 32 goals in 59 games for the Whites in his first 2 seasons after making a £3.4 million move from Eintracht Frankfurt, where he won the Goal King twice while playing in the Bundesliga. Now, the MLS Cup playoffs continue on Tuesday night and the first leg of the Eastern Conference Championships. Now, Columbus Crew welcomed Toronto FC at the Maffra Stadium in a game which has had plenty people talking. The Ghana defender Harrison Afful says they are poised to win, and there's great motivation that provides the team burst of energy to dispatch their rivals.
To me and also to the guys, and we're proud of ourselves because we've worked so very hard in the past few years, and I think we deserve more. 2015, I was able to, play the MLS final, and it was rather unfortunate we couldn't win the ultimate. And this time around, we're playing the Eastern Conference final. First leg is tomorrow, and then we make sure we take our chances, and then also we make sure we don't concede because it's home and away game. Then I think if we do that, we'll be fine, because we need to score more goals and then defend one and then think about the next game. So for me, we just have to be determined and then make sure we compete and then hopefully take our chances, and then at the end of the day, we'll see, and then, yeah.
Well, to more news, and after a successful spell with the national team of Morocco, Hervé Renard has been awarded a contract extension. Now, the Frenchman took charge of Morocco in 2016 and helped the team reach the World Cup for the first time since 1998. The Moroccan Football Federation have set targets for the manager in the upcoming period, which are to win the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations and qualify to the World Cup in 2022. The reason behind the contract extension is that Renard achieved the targets set by the Federation, which were reaching the quarterfinals of the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations, as well as securing a place at the 2018 World Cup. Well, it's Tuesday, and tonight is another Champions League night, and the games are coming in thick and fast. The penultimate games of the group stages, really. And on our screen now, Spartak Moscow will take on Maribor at 5 p.m. tonight. Sevilla will take on Liverpool at 7:45 tonight. That game will be exciting as it looks. And Manchester City will also take on Feyenoord. Man City have not lost at home this season, and they'll be looking to improve upon that record when they welcome Feyenoord to the Etihad Stadium tonight in Manchester. Then Napoli will take on Shakhtar Donetsk, Besiktas against Porto. Monaco will take on RB Leipzig, and then Apoel Nicosia will take on Real Madrid, who have had a good time in the Champions League this season, but are having tough times in the La Liga. And then Borussia Dortmund will welcome Tottenham Hotspur to the Signal Iduna Stadium. But to more news, and Everton forward Omar Niasse has become the first Premier League player to be charged with an alleged act of simulation after winning a penalty in Saturday's 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace. Niasse earned Everton a 6th-minute penalty from which they scored their first goal on Saturday, with referee Anthony Taylor judging that Eagles captain Scott Dann had brought the striker down. However, replays cast doubts on the extent of the contact between Dann and Niasse, and the Football Administration have now announced that they have charged the forward with successful deception of a match official. Well, that's all the sports here on Midday Live. There's more sports news on News 360. Over to you, Wendy.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Yao Ofosun Labi. Next, we have entertainment. And some entertainers, after treating audience to some good music at the grand finale of Ghana's Most Beautiful, share their thoughts on the significance of the pageants. They believe its prospects are important for national growth.
Meanwhile, the finale of Ghana's Most Beautiful was characterized with electrifying performances. Lynx Entertainment's Kwame Eugene and Miss V took the stage, and the rest was history. They pulled off a massive, fire-filled performance, and their fans were incredible. A combination of acting and choreography brought comic actors Efia and Calibus alongside Kobe Rana together in an excellent dramatic twist.
To death do you part.
Adam, who composed this year's theme song for the pageant, put the icing on the cake. They said the pageant should be a national event because of the value it adds to economic growth and promotion of tourism.
Definitely, number one, anything to promote our culture. Some of us, we kind of just move on, you know, and we forget certain things. And this kind of pageant reminds us of a lot of things that, you know, we should know as Ghanaians. So I really applaud the organizers.
It's probably the highest pageant in the country right now because it sells culture. It sells our tradition. It sells things that belong to us that we wouldn't see in the Western world. And I think that anything that represents us is our identity, and so it's going to benefit us.
Ghana Most Beautiful has set its pace to educate a lot of young chaps, young adults coming up. Because going through the stages and what they do, they've learned a whole lot in terms of their cultural practices as well. You don't find it on any other platform that can teach the youth that. So I think it's a good initiative.
Bring you some more on Ghana's Most Beautiful, an analysis of the show since its inception.
Congratulations to the Northern Region Zainab for winning the 2017 GMB show. But, mind you, the whole outlook of the show would have changed had the crown swerved the Northern Region.
Mental illness is no respecter of persons.
Master your class.
The Central region would have broken its own record, becoming 3-time winners of GMB if Baba had won. Ama from the Central region won the maiden edition of the show in 2007. 8 years later, AC made history, winning the coveted crown for the region again in 2015. A win for Baba would have been a perfect icing on the cake, bringing glory to the Central region for the 3rd time. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but that was a good attempt.
Support mental health.
Welcome to the Western region.
The Western region's Yaba won the crown in 2016. A win for Nana on Sunday night would have made the Western region the first region to win the GMB crown back-to-back, 2016 and 2017. The Western region wins GMB for 2 consecutive times. That is what the headlines and leads would have captured. The best, however, didn't come from the West. The Eastern region came to the party in the 2010 competition. The heroine at the center of the victory was the black and beautiful host of Spotlight on TV3, Nana Ama. The eloquent and smooth-talking Sewa, the Eastern region's 2017 representative, may have won many hearts and admiration on the night, but unfortunately not the crown. Better luck next time. In its 11-year history, GMB has produced 10 queens. Let's take a look. 2007, Ama, Central Region. 2008, Adole, Greater Accra Region. 2009, winner was stripped of the crown. 2010, Nana Ama, Eastern Region. 2011, Ekia, Ashanti Region. 2012, Emefa, Volta Region. 2013, Poka, Upper East Region. 2014, Bassi, Upper West Region. 2015, Essi, Central Region. 2016, Yaba, Western Region. And now, 2017, Zainab, Northern Region. Going into Sunday night's GMB Grand Finale, the Northern Region was yet to win the crown. Nasara won the coveted crown for her region back in 2008, but the then queen was later stripped of the honor. The Northern region could technically not boast of one. Zainab's historic victory does not only make her a heroine, but also, for the first time, it gives her home region the bragging rights as a GMB winning region. Zainab didn't only win an enviable crown. The 23-year-old won a Kia Sportage, a 12,000 cedi cash prize, and a straight-out-of-Ghana trip to Dubai. As it stands now, the Bono Ahafo region remains the only region without a GMB crown. Once again, congratulations to GMB Queen for 2017, Zainab.
International news this afternoon. Sacked Zimbabwean former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa has asked President Robert Mugabe to resign immediately. Emmerson Mnangagwa's sacking last week prompted the army's takeover. According to Mnangagwa, he fled abroad 2 weeks ago when he learned of a plot to kill him and would not return until he was sure of his security. Speaking to at an undisclosed location on Tuesday, Mnangagwa said the 93-year-old president should heed to the clarion call of his people and step down. And that'll be all for this afternoon. Thank you so much for making time to watch Midday Live. Enjoy the rest of our programs. My name is Wendy Lai. You have a beautiful afternoon.